You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.
Hey everybody, welcome to Guitar Talk. I am your well-fed host, John, and this is my equally well-fed compadre.
Yes, I am Dave.
Indeed. I gotta let everybody know I've had a few pops before the show.
Excellent.
It might get weird. And in celebration, of course, I had these shall we say sodas. In celebration of Boss releasing a DD3T. We definitely got to talk about that.
The DD3T.
I'm
this
into
is with
it.
a tap delay. Is that what it is?
It's literally the same thing as a DD3, but it has a tap tempo built into the pedal.
Nice.
It's
All
great.
right.
That's a good move from them.
Yeah, why not?
I have a DM2 and a DD3 on my board. I know I'm
Really?
hopping right into it, but the DD3, like the only thing that in my mind it could use is a tap tempo, and here they are, rolling it out on a blue and white platter.
Roland it out.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's all I've got for the week, so I'll catch you later.
Oh, wow, that's unbelievable. Thanks, folks, for stopping by, everybody.
It's a good program. So speaking of programs, this is number 50.
Yes, this is 50. This is. And I got to say, I think a tap tempo is a very good thing to have on a delay. The only thing is I've been using a New Neighbor delay, the New Neighbor Echelon mono delay. And I just keep it set at the usual, like a little 370 something milliseconds, roughly. Yep. It sounds great. I never have to change it. I like that.
I absolutely don't need a tap tempo. I do basically the same thing you do.
Right. Yeah.
Between 360 and 380, and I just leave it there.
Right. And then the other thing is, it's like if you use a tap tempo, it's mainly if you're using dotted eighths and you're playing like the edge stuff. And then it's like, yeah, I get it. You're playing U2. You want it to be in time. That's not for me.
Yeah, I never do that.
Yeah.
For some reason in my head, I'm like, I really need a tap tempo. Yeah, I don't need a tap tempo.
Yeah.
But it's good that they're doing it, and they're doing it at a price point that's hard to argue, man. I think it's 139 Street.
That's
that's right where it should be for a DD3. It's fantastic. I just think it's a good move. I think it was a smart move from Boss. In the video that they released it with, did you watch the video?
I have not.
It's like a music video. That's all it is. It's a song, and it's a music video. And at the beginning of the video, they say, like, all sounds were created using this pedal. And then at the end of the video, it says the same thing. And that's all it is.
Videos, usually I watch a lot more music guitar videos. And the last week, I got into watching Better Call Saul. So I was just buried on Netflix. And then season 4 wasn't on Netflix, so I watched that on Amazon Prime, and I was like, it's fantastic. I think I might like it better than Breaking Bad. Because there's parts to Breaking Bad when they cut to like the family scenes with Skyler where I'm just annoyed. And on Better Call Saul, I'm like, everything I like. Every story I like.
Did they put a tap tempo on Better Call Saul?
They did. But I will say this. When I am on YouTube, I've been watching a lot of gun videos because I purchased a revolver the other day.
That's a Beatles record, right?
Yes, it's the one from 1966 that opens with, what does it open with? Taxman? I think it's Taxman. No, but I picked up a Security 6 by Ruger. Which was made from like 1972 to 80, maybe 88, somewhere in that range. And mine's from 85. It's awesome.
And for those of you in the guitar community, Ruger was a subdivision of the Digitech DoD Harman Corporation.
Right, yeah. Boy, those beers really took the sense of humor out of you. Jesus.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm going to throw all the bad jokes in today, for sure. So, did you get a chance to fire that thing yet?
No, I mean, I literally had it 2 days. But here's the thing. My buddy has one just like it, and I fired his 2 weeks ago, which
Mm,
was the whole kind of point of why I went out and got it, because I was like, man, that's awesome. No
yeah,
kick,
right.
357, shoots 38s also, 38 specials.
Yeah, revolvers are fun to shoot. I
They
agree.
are. They are. And it's it's fun. It's like it's a cowboy gun, but it's fun at the range. It's a nice range gun.
Right.
But getting back to God, I got a lot of gigs coming up with different bands and whatnot and rehearsals, and I've just been crazy busy learning songs, and I did a couple of lives this week, and just been somewhat busy. I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed this week, that Gibson took down their videos off of YouTube.
All of them?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice.
And then there was all these rumors. People are saying Mark Ignacy's is he fired? What's Mark Ignacy doing? But the funny thing is, Mark made a joke, which I noticed yesterday on his Instagram. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not fired. Here's my office. Here's my amp." So Mark's doing fine. I don't know what's going on there, but they may be what I consider
I have,
probably maybe reformatting the style of how they want their videos done. And
I have an idea of why they did it.
why?
They want to get rid of all of the negative comments on every video. They're like, let's get rid of all of them and just start fresh.
Right.
Every single video is just loaded with negative comments.
I mean, they could turn off comments and then have them so they're always deleted. But yeah, I mean, that too. And I think they probably have a new format and look of what they want the videos to look like, and want to keep everything uniform, and they want to rewrite history by doing that. But
Mm,
that's fine. I have
I
no
didn't
problem
know.
with the what's that?
I didn't know. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, and I have no problem with the business going and saying, "Hey, we're going to wipe this stuff out and we're going to start fresh," and that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine.
All
Maybe
right.
Fender should do that.
What with their entire business model? I think they're a pretty successful company. We might make jokes about the lack of diversity in their product line, but
Who's
they're not
this?
hurt Fender. They're not hurting for money. I'm sure they're
You're
pretty.
joking, right?
What?
They've had to restructure twice in the last 10 years. They're doing horribly.
Are they?
Yeah, they got taken over. So I remember when Western Presidio came in and who loaned them money and they couldn't pay it all. And so then they had to go liquidate all the companies. That's why they
Mm.
got rid of Command Music. That's why they got rid of Guild Guitars. You might recall that. You may have been working for the company that bought Guild at that time.
I have no recollection of what you're referring to.
Exactly. But Fender was liquidating the hell out of everything. They got rid of almost every. They got rid of Takamine. They got rid of Command Music. They got rid of everything because the guys who took it over were like, "Can we focus on the company that we have instead of owning every other damn company and doing horrible at all of them?"
Doesn't Weston Presidio sound like a rich white kid bad guy in like a ski movie? But he's gonna race Weston Presidio.
You mean Stalin in the movie Better Off Dead, as played by Aaron Dozier? You know, anyways, but then Western Presidio got taken over. Like somebody came in and bought that part out of Fender. So Fender hasn't been doing very well. They're constantly struggling to be relevant and to try to and I'll tell you right now, they could be the biggest, they could be the most wildly successful company. I just think that they don't uh, understand what they have. Like I was thinking about it, and this is going to seem strange, but I was thinking about it and thinking, if I were the head of Fender, what would I do? And that's number one. It's a hard thing to think of. Is if someone called you tomorrow and said you can come run this company, what would your strategy be? And so I thought about a few things, and the first thing I thought was, number one is I would probably try to come out with my own flagship store in every major city. because like Chicago music in Chicago does a great job, but you go to New York City, there isn't a decent music store in New York City. If Fender were to
What
open up
about
a
Rudy's?
huge, that's gone. All that stuff's gone.
Hmm.
If you were to open up a Fender shop where it was all Fender, all the best of the custom shop stuff, it would be it would be a destination place to go, and you put it in every major city. The next thing that I would do was I would realign some of the series, like the Hot Rod series.
Sure.
I would add two amplifiers to that series. Other than the Hot Rod Deluxe, you got the Blues Junior, you got the Pro Junior. I would do what I would call like a Blues Tweed, which would be the exact same thing as a Blues Junior with 6v6, kind of modeled after the Tweed Deluxe, and a Pro Junior called like a Pro Tweed in Tweed, exactly with the 6v6 to give that 50s vintage. And I think you would sell a shitload of them. And then, what's that face? I was
Well,
kidding.
don't they already make a Tweed Deluxe in the Hot Rod series?
No. They make a Blues Junior in Tweed.
I'm not talking about the Blues Junior, but they make. Pretty sure they make a Blues Deluxe or
A
Tweed Blues or
Blues
whatever they call it.
Deluxe.
But it's in a Tweed 112.
Yeah,
But they don't do it in the 6v6. They do it in a 6L6.
right. But you're
It's
talking that's
basically
a hot.
It's a Hot Rod Deluxe with a couple of different, caps in it.
Right. I wouldn't touch anything in that. And it's also just called the Blues Deluxe. I'm talking about taking a Blues Junior and a Pro Junior and calling it a Blues Tweed and a Pro Tweed and make a Pro Tweed Deluxe and a Blues Tweed Deluxe. Part of the Hot Rod series in a 6v6 type of amp.
Mm.
You would then be offering a budget 6v6 amp for those that want it.
What would your price point be on that?
I mean, what's the price of $599 for the Blues?
Hot Rod Deluxe is $749 these days.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could feasibly make money at $599 doing it.
Why? I'm not. You keep thinking I'm doing something to the Hot Rod Deluxe.
I
I'm
do.
only changing out the tubes to the Blues Junior. I'm saying leave the Hot Rod Deluxe alone and the Blues.
So you want a Blues Junior with 6v6s
and a Pro Junior with 6v6s.
And that's the cure for the ailment that is Fender.
No, I'm just talking about changes that I would make. Obviously, everybody knows I would go into the Strats and knock it down to 10 models.
Right.
That part we've talked about ad nauseum. So and the tellies, and I would try to do, something like my telly as well with the Gretsch stuff on it. But as far as things that people don't really think about, like the amps to offer a cheaper 6v6 style amp in the Tweed Deluxe style. And, it doesn't necessarily have to be a 5E3, but could be a modern take on a 5E3 in the Blues Junior box. And I just think, and breaking the line way down, like I said. And then I think you could be able to go into your shops and be able to have somebody swap the pickups and have techs in your shops. I just think that it would go back to a little bit more of a simpler time of the almost like a car dealership, if you will, where the Fender store is the dealer. You go in, oh, you want that Strat with a mint guard and these custom shop pickups? Come back in an hour.
Would you offer the Strats with True Coat?
You have to have the rust undercoating.
Right.
Exactly.
Boy, that True Coat.
We don't even know what it does. We don't even know what it does. So yeah. So anyways, those were just things I was thinking about. I didn't really think about it much. This was all. I was showering and I was like, what would I do to change? What would I change in the amps? And that was the first thing I thought of. And then, of course, bringing in like what PRS did was bringing in. I would bring in a boutique builder and have them someone that's really in on the Fender designs and have them hand wire or modernize some of these amps and keep them still in
Do
vein
they?
of what Leo meant.
Who was the guy they had years ago? They brought in a boutique guy years ago that made like the Fender Pro Sonic. Who did that?
Shitbag McGee. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm speaking out of line here. I don't know what or out of turn I should say. I can't think. It wasn't Ken Fisher. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, go on.
That was all I was. I'm thinking adding the colors and to get a strap like this. Is nearly impossible. But if you played this, you would love it. Big boat neck, V-neck, stainless frets.
I did play a guitar that I loved yesterday, and I was shocked.
What was it?
Have you ever? I'm not buying one anytime soon. It's just, but have you ever played or heard of Comparison guitars?
Oh yeah, of course. They make like the 27 or 29 fret guitars, and
Yeah,
they're Japanese, aren't they?
they are. They are.
Caprison.
Yeah, they're Japanese, and they start at like $2,600.
Yeah.
They're So I didn't realize this until I read about it. They were started when Jackson pulled their custom shop out of Japan. Those
really?
builders went on to form this company in the mid '90s. So I don't know much
about. When did Jackson
about.
leave Japan?
I don't know. This was like 95, I think, is when they started. I don't know a lot about the history, but I do know a friend of mine just bought one, and he said, "Hey, do you mind helping me set up this tremolo?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care." So I helped balance his tremolo for him. But it's the first time I actually laid hands on one of these guitars. Out of any of the Ibanez, ESP, Japanese Jacksons, out of any of like the Japanese shredders I've ever had my hands on, this was without question the nicest guitar.
Really?
Out of all of them, it was incredible. The fretwork, the neck, it was really good. If I was, for whatever reason, interested in buying another shredder guitar, I would look no further. It was fantastic.
And what were the amenities on this?
This particular guitar?
What were the appointments?
Well, it was a neck through guitar with a Floyd, and that's why I'm not interested. It's not what I want, but
right.
The neck was compound radius neck, and it was also a compound sort of neck profile. They say that it, like in the lower fret register, it's a D-shaped neck, which you can totally tell. And then as you get up, it turns into a C-shaped neck, a little thicker. The thing that was so nice about it was the fact that the neck was more substantial than like an Ibanez or a Jackson. Right. Coming right out of the I've got my big fat, I have big fat hands. And as soon as I wrapped my hands around that neck, I was like, this is substantial. And it feels incredible.
Nice.
And it was like 12 to 16 compound radius. So it's pretty flat all the way down. Big giant frets, ebony fingerboard. But yeah, for whatever reason, the thickness and the shape of the neck was just, it wasn't like holding an Ibanez. And fantastic build quality. Really, really nice. That said, not really in the market for a shredder guitar.
Right.
Kind of more in the vibe lately of kind of feeling a Tele. Feeling like something Telecaster. I need to pick up that guitar from G&L.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think there's one with your name on it.
Yes, there is. And I feel really bad. I've talked to Ron a number of times over the last couple of weeks, so I'm trying to get down there. I haven't been able to get down there.
Yeah, well,
I am going to get it, folks. I am. But I'm more in a Tele vibe these days, but that comparison was sick.
It's funny when you think about guitar companies that train foreign factories how to make their instruments, how to quality control it, and then they get up and leave, and then they form their own company and become formidable. And basically that's how Takamine started. They were trained by Sigma Martin. They were the Sigma Martins of the late 60s, early 70s. And in 74, they were basically left with their dick in their hand and said, fuck it, we'll make our own acoustic guitar. And they made Takamine. And in fact, the first year or two they were making with the Martin headstock, and Martin was like, come on, guys, just make your
Right.
own logo and everything. And so that, and they did, Takamine did. And um, so, because it's funny, recently, I don't know if you know Guitar Hack on
Yeah.
YouTube, he
Yeah.
was looking at buying um, one of the new Jacksons that was out there, and he was describing the appointments. And I said, why would you buy that? Just go buy a used Dinky Professional, because it basically sounded like a Dinky Professional he wanted, which was made from like 92 to 94 in Japan. And they were great guitars, and you can buy them used really cheap. But it was made at that factory that you're probably talking about, because that was when Akai took over. Because before that, before Akai took, and not Akai, but the company that owned Akai, I have three letters, I forget.
I don't know.
Yeah, they bought it from Grover Jackson. And before that, the Jacksons were all USA, and the Charvels were made in Japan.
Hmm.
Do you remember the Charvel? Like they had they were all numbered. Charvel 1, Charvel 1 through 6 they had.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. And then what's it called? And then when
Then they had
the
the Charvette line.
that I don't know.
Oh yeah, you can look that up. That's the even shittier guitar. That's like their Squire was called Charvette. You haven't seen those? Oh,
No.
you go, goes up. All right.
Did somebody take a Charvette? It stinks in here. That's what it sounds.
Somebody in our listening audience right now that's mad that I said it was shittier.
Right, because they have one.
I have one of those guitars. It was a good guitar. Shut up.
Did somebody Charvette in their pants? What the hell is that smell?
Oh man, that's good.
You know what? I'm driving the other day and I hear an advertisement for Ron Burgundy podcast.
I like that you said advertisement.
Yes, I'm
right. The Ron Burgundy podcast on iHeartRadio. Sure.
Yeah, and my question is how out of touch is this guy that he thinks it's funny to keep burning that candle on both ends of Ron Burgundy? The idea for the movie, excellent. Anchorman 2, equally funny. Will Ferrell doing a podcast as the Ron Burgundy character? Yeah, you're going to have to come in tomorrow and clean up your desk. No, it's horrible. Who the hell would listen to that?
So you saw the advertisement, but did you listen to this program?
I don't have to listen to it. I already know it's horrible by the premise of the guy is just doing Ron Burgundy and trying to say, let me guess, he's going to say off-color, outdated things that are funny because they're so off-color today. Yeah, I get it. I saw the fucking movie.
Right.
I can't listen to a podcast of the guy doing it free for. I mean, sorry, Ron.
Yeah. Part of the beauty about podcasts was the fact that guys like you and I could get together and do something. And now that it's gone to this corporate thing where it's like, iHeartRadio, and they're doing like it's nationwide and they've got Ron Burgundy's. Yeah, it doesn't have any appeal to me as a listener.
Right.
Like, the thing that I like about podcasts is I can put on even well-known people do this thing out of like their home. Like I could listen to the Bill Burr podcast, or I could listen to whatever. And it doesn't seem so corporate.
Yeah, it seems not even that it's corporate so much, but that it's just so calculated.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, the cool thing when we do Guitar Talk is we just shoot the shit. We're two guys that have worked in the business. If you don't want to listen, don't listen. But we're not going to do a 2-hour podcast on Richard Simmons being missing.
I mean, I would do that podcast if you wanted to. Especially.
Well,
if
that
the
brings
whole
me up to
entire
the
podcast-
topic of Richard Simmons. He's missing. No, it's not even that he's missing. It's like, but they're trying to like bloviate a boring situation to say because he's out of the spotlight and doesn't want to be on TV right now that he's missing.
All
I
right.
guess people can't have a personal life.
Right.
When Rick Moranis stopped acting in movies, nobody was like Rick Moranis is missing.
Nobody.
No,
Nobody gave a shit.
no one. Nobody can.
I like Rick Moranis
He was excellent
for
as
all
Dark
of the
Helmet.
for all of the reasons Rick Moranis left show business. I mean, it's hard to knock the guy. The guy
No,
The
No,
guy
he
has
went
a
to raise his
moral
kids.
compass.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Anyway,
made some money. He had a good career. He was in Ghostbusters. He had a good little thing going.
Dark Helmet. Dark Helmet's the best.
It is the best.
We're surrounded by assholes.
Now, have you
Firing assholes.
have you gigged at all in the last no?
No, man. The last Pork Chop Express show was the last one.
Not excellent when you don't have to gig that often.
Just for it's gonna be a slow fall because I left the Elvis thing unless they need me for a fill-in, and
And Troy.
yeah, I haven't been doing that. That's largely due to the fact that it's just really hard to motivate myself to do a non-paying sort of gig like that when I've got so much other crap I've got to do. It's not intentionally like I could do it. I could go out and do it. It's really hard to want to do it.
And what's going on at the new job?
Lots of stuff.
You're selling amps.
Yeah.
Friedman, Morgan.
Yep. Morgan Friedman.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, man. No, the company's doing real well. Everybody seems to dig the products at low return rates. I mean, everything's good.
Right.
I got NAMBLA is coming up. We're going to be a proud sponsor of NAMBLA.
Oh, good.
And we're also going to be attending NAMM.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Now.
Yeah, no, I have a lot to talk about. We got new stuff.
Who do you deal with? What local stores have you dealt with? All of them?
Yes, basically all of them. You have a store in your neighborhood? Ask them. No, we let's see, in your neighborhood.
Hey, whatever happened to LSL? Are they still up there in the valley?
Is Axe Palace in your neighborhood?
No.
Is that in Boston?
Never heard of it.
What about
It could be.
What's the big guitar shop in Boston? The high end one.
There's Matt's Music.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. We deal with Matt's.
Yeah.
They buy lots of stuff.
Yeah, they're in Weymouth.
Yeah.
They're about 15, 20 minutes from me.
Why do I know the name Tina Weymouth?
She was the bass player for the Talking Heads and Tom Tom Club.
What it is. Okay, got it. All right, what did you ask me a second ago?
Whatever happened to LSL?
I don't know what's going on with them right now. That's Lance
Yeah.
Lerman, right? They were in Sweetwater for a while. They're not in Sweetwater anymore.
But did they move out of the valley? Are they still in that factory they were in? Or you have no idea?
I think he's still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of movement of like the guitar companies in LA. Like I know Echo Park Guitars is still there. LSL is still there. I'm pretty sure that Rock and Roll Rebels is still here.
When you go to Echo Park Guitars, do you sing to yourself, "Off to Echo Park, take me on the..." Oh, is it Gorky Park? Is that what that was? It's your favorite.
I just realized when you said "teak me," I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know what you were saying at first."
Off to Echo Park Guitars to get some strings. What about? Let me see what else is going on. I'm trying to think what's been. What about? What I always think is kind of like silly, and I'm not a big Nash guitar fan. I don't fully understand what they do and why they do it.
Nash guitars.
But they sell them at mats as well.
Yeah, they make their guitars out of like all parts, bodies and necks, or
Right.
whoever's bodies and
Yeah.
necks. Yeah, they do. They do
And
a nice
charge
job.
a lot of money for it.
Right, they do a nice job with the finish and the distressing and
Oh,
stuff.
please. They make they make parts for the American man because that's who they are and that's who they work for.
If that's who they care about, right?
I care about whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean they're putting an S style or a T style relic in your hands for
Right.
$2,000, whereas Fender is asking $4,000 these days.
I love the
And,
fact people say S style and T
Yeah,
style
well-
when clearly you're talking about stealing a Stratocaster and a Telecaster. But
I-
and I understand they are
I
generic
was talking
shapes.
about a soloist and a
Right.
traditional Les Paul. No, yeah, no, I know, I fully
Right.
aware. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the only appeal. I mean, they put good electronics in it, good pickups, whatever. I don't know.
They charge a lot
You
of
know,
money. You're better off just ordering Warmoth parts, taking it to a luthier and say, put this together for me, will you?
slap this together.
Yeah.
I'll pay you when you're done.
Right. It's
I played another guitar the other day that made me kind of warm in the downstairs region.
okay.
Yeah, I played a new I think they call it a Cirrus from Novo Guitars, the new Dennis Fano stuff.
Oh.
Oh,
I know who Fano is, but I'm not. Oh, these were nice.
fucking hell. Oh yeah. Yeah, the Fano Cirrus, it's kind of an odd shape. It's a little bit like
Didn't Josh Brolin play Fanos?
Thanos.
Fanos.
Jesus. No, Dennis Fano, look, the Fano guitars were really, really good, and then they went to Premier Builders Guild, and they weren't so good, and then Premier Builders Guild dissolved, and then they went somewhere else, and I guess they're kind of good again, but Dennis himself hasn't been involved in Fano guitars for a number of years. Now he does this thing called Novo guitars, and they're really nice. Every one that I've played was exceptional.
So
And
these
that-
are the G&L of Fano guitars.
Yes, there you go. That's funny. Yeah. But I mean, historically, any Fano that I've played or any of these Novos now have all been great. I think the guy makes a good quality guitar. But
Well, I mean, what are the shapes? Are they typical?
the Cirrus, it's kind of weird. It kind of reminds me of like a mashup of a Strat and a Rickenbacker 330.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what? Yeah, just have to look at it. It's a different shape. It's a unique shape. But the thing is so good. I'd buy one.
And why didn't you buy it?
Because none of our listeners have sent me a PayPal of $3,000.
Oh. There you go. And there it is, folks. It all comes down to money.
It's all, yeah, that's exactly right. But man, well made, good sounding.
Manuel made it?
Man, well made, right?
You racist
Who had
prick.
Who had the beers today? Was that me or you?
I thought you were saying Manuel made it.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, that's interesting that those guitar companies, because to me, I always feel like every guitar company coming out, it's like are trying to make there's twofold. Honestly, I think companies that make Strats and Tellys, I like. Like, I like the fact that other people are out there trying to do something Fender made, but improve on it. The looks, though, don't change so much. However, when I see new weird shapes like a Rickenbacker 330 crossed with a Strat, I want to do a Pete Townsend with it. And I don't know why that is. Maybe because it looks like Pete Townsend smashed something like that at one point. Yeah, it's just, I don't know what kind of room is in. When you think about it, think about like what guitar company really broke the market in the last 20 years.
Somebody who is now popular. Is
A
what
big
you're
guitar
saying?
company, like a very sellable guitar company that broke in the market within the last 20 years.
I guess I need. That's a good question. What do you qualify as big?
Well, I think we can both understand when we talk about what's a big seller. Obviously, I would say, I don't know, John Suhr maybe. When did John Suhr stop making guitars? I mean, when did he
I
leave
don't know,
Penske?
but that's a good one.
Yeah, but John was with Fender years ago, and he
Right.
left what, in the 80s or 90s?
I couldn't tell you, but he did the Pensasur thing for a while.
Right, but that was and then Suhr, which is still the same type of thing.
Yeah.
He just split from Pensa.
I mean, it's not like it launched 20 years ago, but you could say that Schecter blew up like crazy for a good chunk of the last 20 years, even though I
Yeah,
think they're selling
okay.
out
I'll give
this.
you Schecter.
But yeah, I don't know in terms of like a company who came out of nowhere, like from the ground up in the last 20 years. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because
I don't know.
Schecter
I
was a
guess it
parts
depends on
company, and
yeah, it depends on what you qualify as like a popular thing. I mean, like
wasn't
Friedman,
Schecter Boogie Bodies too? Wasn't Boogie Bodies David Schecter?
I don't know.
I think it was. And then I think the first Schecter was that PT model, the Pete Townsend, the black that he
Hmm.
used on Eminence front video.
How
Which by
about
which by
how
the way,
about
I hate
Rogue?
that song. How about what?
Rogue. It's
Right,
guitars
Rogue.
at
Yeah,
the import line, right?
yeah, it's horrible. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
Carlo Rabelli. No, it's
Ooh.
it's interesting because my point being, it's not. I mean, when did Capricin come out? That was the '90s. What, '95?
Yeah,
Um,
95 was their first year, but I wouldn't call them big. I mean,
no, still not big.
just the fact that Sweetwater just picked them up is like that's going to be so elevating to that brand.
Well,
It's
Capricin
been
years ago made the 27 fret guitar. That was their big thing.
they still do.
Right, but I'm just saying that was when they came into my that's when I had my eye on them when I saw them come out with that.
If I was allowed to buy a comparison
I think it's Capricin, isn't it?
Horus Caprison? No, I mean it's Caprison.
Oh, it's
But
Comparison?
yeah, I don't
I always thought it
I
was
don't know.
pronounced Capricin.
Well, I don't know why
The
they would
hell
just
do
dump
I
the
know?
80s in the middle. I don't know.
Because they're Japanese.
Maybe it was supposed to be comparison.
Right.
I don't know, but the yeah, Sweetwater just picked them up. That's gonna be a big boost in their sales.
Sure.
And then they've got this thing called the Horus M3, that's the bolt-on 27 fret angled neck pickup.
Yes. Yes. Can I
Yeah.
just say, Sweetwater? I think I've never spoke bad about the company. I think they're phenomenal. I love it. But I do not understand a few things about that company. Number one, Mitch Gallagher. That guy's voice could be curing insomnia everywhere. If I put a video on my Apple TV with Mitch Gallagher talking about an amplifier, and he always talks like, before you know it, I'm like, I'm out. I'm like, this guy's unbelievable.
What's the guy's name? The AM radio guy. Paul Harvey. He's got kind of a Paul Harvey thing, maybe.
And a moment, the rest of the story. No, Paul Harvey at least had a little bit of flair to his voice. There's something about Mitch Gallagher's voice where everything is so rounded, all the words, and it's like he's
He's a
chewing on a piece of leather
he's a
that I
beautiful
just,
orator.
oh no, it's awful. It just puts me to sleep.
Aw, poor Mitch.
No, and I'm sure he's a nice guy, but that voice when he talks to people, it's always like, you know who
How about
Scott Pelley is?
no? But
He's
how do
on
we
like
feel? How do
ABC
we
News,
feel
same type of
about
voice.
I'm looking at the list right now. PRS is older than 20 years.
Sure, they came out in the 80s. We could
Yeah,
clearly make that note.
maybe 30 years ago, 35 years ago, something like that.
33 at least.
Yeah.
86, 85. Yeah,
Ernie
34.
Ball, Ernie Ball, Music Man's older than 20 for sure. Gretsch is obviously old. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the Sweetwater product offering right now. I don't see any brands that are young
Yeah,
on that list. Comparison would be the youngest, and that's 24 years old. EVH, but EVH is just an evolution of Ernie Ball
sure.
Music and Axis, which is 30
Well,
years.
EVH is Fender making
Right.
Eddie Van Halen's line. I mean, it's almost like.
Right, but
I
I'm
mean,
just
yeah,
saying
that might be it.
came from the Axis. But I
Yeah,
guess
but doesn't he also do Strat-shaped guitars too?
yes.
Yeah, he does his Strat shapes like stripe guitars, and
All right, so you could say
you could.
that. Because if you're allowed to count a company like PRS as being like a unique thing, they're not really that unique. It's a mashup of a Strat and a Les Paul, but
Yeah, no, but they're their own thing.
yeah.
I can't knock what
All right.
he did. I mean, I think it's
All right,
probably
maybe
the last.
EVH then. I'll give
Yeah.
them that. Yeah,
So
give them
what
that.
else?
Sure.
There's nothing else really.
Well, who else is
And
there?
EVH, we have to also say, makes it on who he is. I do not think the products stand on their own. And by
Well,
that,
that line was
I'm not
the
calling into
Tom
question.
DeLonge guitars. It wouldn't have worked.
Well, I'm not putting into question the quality or how good an EVH3 head is or amplifier is. What I'm saying is the people who are buying it love Eddie. It's
Sure.
not like it's not like Mike Campbell's going out on the road with an EVH head.
Right. How old is Duesenberg?
Oh, those German guitars. I love those guitars.
I don't know if they're really big. They're still, I think they're big.
No. Very, very niche.
But they have been around a long time, so they're kind of still making it at least.
Yeah, oh, they're great. I love the one. There's one that I really like. It's like in leather. It's really nice.
Interesting. Another interesting thing is that comparison's also on Musician's Friend. That's interesting to me. I did not know that they dealt with them as well. So they might be, I mean, they're niche, but they're probably bigger than I thought they were.
Yeah, they've been around for a while. I remember them around, but I'm just saying, like, your guitars like Fanos and Nick Huber,
Yeah.
and I mean, those guitars are like, they're like the Kevin Ryan of electric guitars.
Well, Nick Huber, yes. Fano, not as much. I mean, you can get a Fano for $3,500.
Sure, but 3,500.
It's a lot of it's a lot of money, but you can't buy a Fender Custom Shop for barely under that.
Right, but it's not worth it.
That's not what we're talking about.
No, but
We're talking about accessibility, right?
Yeah, but okay, so go on Craigslist and go look at a Fender Custom Shop, and you could probably pick one up for 2,800, 2,500. Right. Go look for a Nick Huber, you're not going to see one.
Right. Like a Nick Huber Orca is his Les Paul.
Right.
And it's $8,500.
It's nuts.
Yeah. They're also I've seen a few of them in person before, and I've never seen one that's been anything less than spectacular.
Right, but it's also
it's $8,500.
It's right. Let's put it this way. All right, now here's what I'm going to say to you. Ozzy is going on the road. He's going to do a 10-show engagement. And he says, hey, I saw the Elvis Simmons show. I want you on stage with me. I'm giving Zakk Wylde the fresh air. So now you're like, all right, I'm going on, and he's like, listen, I have two guitar makers out there. You can play a Nick Huber Les Paul, or Gibson wants to give you a Les Paul custom. What are you going to take?
Take the Huber all day.
Because you're going to turn around and sell it?
Well, I think it's a better guitar. And then, yes, of course, after the tour, because Ozzy's not paying much.
Let me tell you right now, I'll take.
Sharon gave me a bum deal.
I'll take the Les Paul.
Okay. What for?
I just think that Nick Huber's like a fucking coffee table. What do I got to take a piece of art out there for? I'd be looking. Oh my god, I'm gonna nick it. At least the Gibson, I know I'm on
That's
stage.
right.
I
You're
can beat
gonna
the
nick
piss
it. You're
out of
gonna
it.
Nick Huber it.
Right, but I can sweat my nuts off on the Les Paul and not worry about it. And as it gets beat up, it's gonna look good. The Nick Huber gets beat up, and people are gonna go, "That's worth $2,000 now."
I like this dumbass scenario that you present, where Ozzy, for some reason, is giving me a Huber.
Oh, it's just I'm just trying to show you that I don't find I don't think the reason why
get
they're
it.
not selling is they're the Kevin Ryan of acoustic guitars. I mean of electric
Yeah.
guitars. Who's gonna go out and buy one unless you're living at home, unless you want it at your house, you
Right.
have an office, and when people walk in and they see it on the wall with the proper light, they're going, "Oh my God, that's gorgeous."
Right.
And not to, and I shouldn't
Doctor.
say
It's Doctor Lawyer for sure.
right. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all
but
I'm saying. A guy out there who's really playing wants a guitar that he doesn't mind sweating on and then and things happening to it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do.
And I think the guitar world has gotten to the point where they're selling carpenters gold hammers. Because that's what
Yeah,
it is.
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that for sure.
Yeah, and that's my point. It's like if you're out there and you're gigging, why would you take out a gold hammer? It's like if you're a carpenter, you're just going to bring out the hammer that you want to just make sure you can bang out and get the job done. So my point is, if you're playing a Strat, you can bang out $1,000 Strat. It's going to get you the same work done as a $4,000 Strat with less worry. It's going to do the same job. My Strat here ended up costing me $1,400 to build it with Warmouth. And you're telling me that for $4,000 I can get a custom shop? I would have to have my head examined.
My wife calls my penis the gold hammer. She doesn't.
Awful. So, but no, seriously, but it just gets ridiculous. Like when you hear about Nick Huber, $8,500. Who you never?
It's also ridiculous when you hear about Gibson, $8,500.
But here's the difference, and let me explain the difference. Gibson is not making their nut off that $8,500 guitar. Right. It's a very peripheral guitar.
Right.
They're making it off of the $1,000 to $2,500 guitar, but every one of their heroes is playing a Gibson of some form of value. Doesn't matter what the value is. I mean,
yeah. Once you get into the nylon string business, like this $8,500 talk is like completely out the window. You start talking about all these guys that make their livings on selling $25,000 and $30,000 guitars, and you're just like, what? It's incredible.
But if you were to say Nick Huber has an $8,500 Les Paul, you're never going to see a celebrity play it, an up and coming, because that person would have never been able to afford it on their way up.
Oh no! Of course
and
not.
Now that they're up, they want to play what's home to them.
Yeah, I can't imagine he sells that many. I'd be very curious to see. We got to get Nick on the program.
Yeah. So what you're telling me
Nick,
now?
Give us your financials for the last 5 years, please.
But if you made a nylon string electric guitar,
right?
Thank you.
Oh, God. Oh man. You know, if you would have told me that in this country we would sell hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of $3,700 amplifiers, I would have said you're out of your mind. There's no way. Yeah, we do it.
Yes, and look at Taylor guitars. They're making what, 300 a week there, or 300 a day. I forget what the numbers are. It's so crazy. Where the hell are they going?
Right. Yeah, they're not, like I've said before, they're not Dixie cups. They don't break down and then you got to buy another one. They stay in the market. They stay there, not, you buy it and you get sick of it. You sell it to some kid 2 years later.
I'm just going to start reading obituaries and start looking through estate sales. I think that's where you can buy everything.
Didn't Spiewak used to do that?
Did he?
I don't know. I feel like I used to hear him talk every once in a while about going to like estate sales, looking for
Yeah,
instruments.
I would imagine because I mean, some people are never going to sell them until they pass, and then they might pass them down to their children, or they might just be like liquidated, and their kids want to get rid of them. It's crazy.
Sure. Montage hit me up once and said, he said, "Hey, my neighbor is selling his guitar collection. He's got like 100 something instruments. I don't remember how many it was. So he's got 100 something instruments he wants to sell. He said, I can get you a list if you want to take a look at it. So I was like, yeah, man, send it over. And then he sent it over. And apparently, or well, he didn't send it over. He sent me a message following up a few days later saying, oh, the guy doesn't want to piece them out. He wants to sell the collection as a whole collection. So I didn't do anything with it. But from the sounds of it, he had some pretty ridiculous stuff. Because Montage doesn't know a lot about guitars, but the stuff he was telling me was like, oh yeah, he's got Gibsons and PRSs and blah blah blah. So he knew enough. Yeah, there's those dudes are out there for sure.
Yeah.
You end up running across these guys that were collectors that are aging, and now they're just like, I'm going to turn it into retirement money. You folks have got to be out there looking at that, seeing if you can
But
get a hold of.
Do you think they went up?
I don't know.
Or do you think they actually spent their retirement money and now they want to get it back?
Right. Well, a lot of the guitars, a lot of them aren't going to go up. The shitty thing about like the collector market is if it's not 40, 50 years old, it's not collecting value.
Right.
You buy, especially if you're buying at retail, you buy a $3,500 PRS, you're not getting $3,500 back for it. Not unless it's one of the first years that he came out. That might be appreciating now.
Right.
But, the 2016, that's not worth anything.
No. And that's part of the whole issue is like you see guys who are playing like I knew a kid that was playing an early 80s Strat and he was like, yeah, should I change this and change that? I'm like, well, are you going to keep it or are you going to sell it? I think I'm going to keep it for a while. I'm like, well, what's a while? Well, I want it to be my main guitar. Well, then put whatever the fuck you want in it, make it playable. You know what I mean? It's like it's not going to be worth anything really for a long time. Who knows if those 80s will ever become worth anything? But again, we said that about the 70s, and here we are.
Yeah, it's crazy when I go to a music store and I see like a Japanese Strat from the 80s, and they're asking $900 or $1,000 for it.
Yeah.
Like what? Shouldn't be that.
Yeah, no, it's
maybe they will. Maybe they will go up if they're. It's just the way the market works. If it's 30 years old, people for some reason find value in that. There's people out there that are, I don't want to say brainwashed, but they're convinced that old means good, in spite of reality. Old doesn't always mean good, but they think it.
Mom and pop shops have been suffering because of that fact that they throw things on the wall and put a crazy price on it. And people are selling it themselves through Reverb at a decent price, and you can see what they can go for. You can go on Craigslist and, people that want money. It's, I think the market is so saturated with instruments, and I don't even need any instruments anymore. So I'm so good. Like an amp, yes. An instrument, not really. Just don't care.
You can clearly see that you need amplifiers.
Well, I don't have any.
I
know.
You need an amplifier like you need another Devo hat.
Exactly. Well, they don't make anything except for red and blue, but yeah. So, anyways, I mean, I could see an amplifier because to me the amplifiers are like, you could always make a smaller one that sounds good. I'm sick of lugging gear around, and I'm loving playing acoustic gigs. I love it. It's so easy. I have an electric gig next week where we've added a bunch of songs. Like we've added Renegade by Styx, and we added the Logical song, which I have to learn the sax solo.
Such a great song.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
Great song. Yep.
So it's
that's a cool one. I'd like to do something like that.
Yeah. We do it a half step lower than the record because it's easier to sing and play in B minor as opposed to C minor.
All right.
Yeah. So, but singing wise, it's probably the most important part. That it's high.
So what gigs and what excellent cuisine is on the menu for this upcoming week? What do you got going on?
So I have a gig on Friday. I think it's Friday. Maybe it's Saturday. Let me take a look. I hope it's Friday. It's Friday. I have a gig on Friday, October 4th. And I got rehearsals and lessons all week this week. I'm looking at my schedule here.
Oh,
Tomorrow.
by the way, happy Jewish holiday. I forgot. I don't even
Oh,
know.
yeah, is that
what
start of
that's-
something now? I don't
It's
know.
something.
30. So, yeah, I mean, I got 3 lessons tomorrow and a rehearsal, 2 lessons the next day. A Wednesday I'm off. No, Wednesday I have I'm off. Thursday I have a rehearsal and 2 lessons, and Friday my gig. So,
Yeah, Rosh
that'll be good.
Hashanah starts.
When?
That's the one. It starts tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
What is that? I don't know what that one is.
It's the New Year. It's the Jewish New Year.
Oh, got it. And then there's the Fast of Gedaliah.
That's on Yom Kippur. That's next.
Yeah. The Fast of Gedaliah. Ooh.
I have no
Sounds like
idea.
a band. It's like a metal band.
Get a liar. Christ.
We are Gedaliah. Yeah.
On lead bass. No, so yeah, so then and as far as food goes this week, I've been doing Monday nights going to PF Chang's getting soup. I love the hot and sour. It's so good.
There's just something inherently old sounding about yeah, I'm going and getting the soup.
Come on, I've been going to Chang's for years getting
Oh,
that hot and sour soup. I even like the hot and sour a little bit better at Genghis Cohen.
You get some pot stickers?
No.
Okay.
I got them last time when they were out of the soup, but I'm not a big fan of their food. I just think their hot and sour soup is good.
That's so interesting to me. Feeling like a soup. That's all right.
Every Monday night.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
And now, what about you? What's your week entail?
I got nothing. I'm literally going to go to some federal office somewhere and try and get one of those travel, I don't know what they call it, pre-screen travel things. So when I go to the airport, I don't have to wait in line. I'm gonna get one of those.
What is that?
It's like an $80 fee, but it's called like a TSA pre-screen or something like that. And what it is if you basically just go and give them your documentation and I don't know, take a test or whatever you got to do, you get this pre-screen thing and you don't have to wait in line.
Oh.
Yeah, it's seems well worth it. Keep your shoes on at the airport.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
It's just a pain in the ass.
Modern travel, like they've made it so inconvenient that now you go on an airplane with people and everybody's basically wearing their pajamas.
Right, if they just put a marshal on the plane, that'd be all done.
Yeah.
You don't need to take people's shoes.
Weren't they doing that for a while?
Yeah, who knows why they don't? I don't know.
Anyway, I got to go do that at some point this week. I got to just like work stuff, but yeah, no gigs, no nothing. We're taking a couple of weeks off and from the gigging thing, we're going to start hitting it again in November. No October gigs at all.
So wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with it because
I guess October will remain October and not Rocktober.
Oh,
because the radio stations love to tell me that it's Rocktober.
So bad.
Today's a double shot of Foreigner on October 2nd.
God,
I don't know.
I don't listen to FM that much anymore.
No, I never do. I never listen to the radio.
Do you have a satellite in your car?
Not in my car. I have. I put CDs in because I make mixes of like set lists that I have to play, or I listen to AM iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. I kind of hate it.
What, iHeartRadio?
Yeah, just from the standpoint that like they own everything. Like it's this big corporate thing.
Yeah. It sucks.
The world we live in, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Woo.
like I said, I wish you a lovely Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, I thank you
And,
much. It's
yeah.
I didn't even know it was that holiday. That's
Oh,
how pious I am.
Now you do. You oh shit, I forgot the word. You heretic.
Right, heretic.
What's the word they say when you're not religious? They call you a something.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
All right, that's not what they call you, but
Was
anyway.
that the heat of the night? All right, very good.
Heat of the moment. I should find that South Park episode.
Which one?
The one where Cartman goes in front of Congress and gets everybody singing Heat of the Moment.
Oh, it's a great one. Wait, was it Heat of the Moment or was it the other one?
Yeah. No, it's Heat of the Moment. I'm sure.
No, it's... Oh, you're right. What's the other one? Only Time Will Tell?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, wait, how...
I never meant to be so bad to you.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, it's great when they're
Oh, Cartman's outstanding. He's the greatest character on TV. Has your kids ever watched Uncle Grandpa?
No. Don't know what
You've got to go on. Do they watch Cartoon Network at all?
No,
Uncle Grandpa's the greatest. The guy. Good morning. Good morning. I love Uncle Grandpa. Good morning. Oh, you got to watch it. My niece used to watch it around me, and I'm like, I find myself watching it all the time. Good morning. It's so stupid. Adam Devine from Workaholics plays Pizza Steve.
Yeah, no idea.
Oh, the show's great. All right.
None of those references land with me at all. Anyway, folks,
we'll call it a
was
day.
A lot of fun. I look forward to number 51. We'll catch you in a week. Enjoy
Sounds
this
good.
one. And
very good.
Peace out.
Very good.
Later.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.